Somebody rang your business today and nobody picked up. They did not leave a voicemail. They rang the next name on the list. You will never know it happened, which is exactly why it keeps happening. An AI receptionist fixes that, and almost every video about them is a comparison of which tool to buy. That is the wrong question. The tool matters far less than what you tell it to say. So this is the actual build, in order, and at the end the honest maths on what it recovers.
First, what this actually is, because the phrase makes people picture something worse than reality. An AI receptionist is a voice agent connected to your phone number that answers when you cannot, asks a few questions, and either books the job or hands it to you with notes. It is not a phone menu. It is not press 1 for sales. And it is not the chat window you already use, which cannot answer a phone at all. The difference between one that works and one that annoys people is entirely in the setup.
Step 1, and do this before you touch any software. Write down what it is allowed to say. Your prices or your price ranges, your service area, your hours, the 3 questions customers ask most. And then the important list, the things it must never promise. Same day, a fixed price before anybody has looked at the job. Work you do not actually do. Every bad AI receptionist story comes from an agent that promised something the business then had to walk back. That list is your insurance.
Step 2 is the call flow, which is just the conversation written down in order. Greeting, under 10 words. Then the questions that tell you whether this is worth booking. Then what happens if they ask for something you do not do. Then how it ends. Write this in your own words, out loud, not as a document. The test is simple. Read it aloud. If it sounds like something you would actually say to somebody standing in their kitchen, ship it. If it sounds like a brochure, you have written the wrong thing.
Step 3 is the part that decides whether this makes you money or just fills your diary. Pick 3 qualifying questions. Only 3. What do they need? When do they need it? And are they the person who decides? That is usually enough. If you ask 7 questions, the caller hangs up. And if you ask none, you wake up to a calendar full of people who were never going to buy. 3 is the number that gets you enough to price the job without turning a phone call into a form.
Step 4 is the only technical step, and it is smaller than you think. You are forwarding your existing number so that unanswered calls reach the agent instead of ringing out. You are not replacing your number, and you are not asking customers to learn a new one. Start it on out of hours only. Evenings and weekends, when there is nobody to lose because nobody was answering anyway. Once you have listened to a week of those calls and fixed what is wrong, extend it to daytime overflow.
Step 5 is the handoff, and it is where most setups quietly fail. Decide what has to reach you and in what form. At minimum, the name, the number, what they wanted, when they want it, and whether the agent booked anything. Have it land somewhere you will actually see, which for most owners is a text, not an email, and not a dashboard you have to remember to open. And give the agent one escape route. If the caller sounds unhappy or asks something outside its rules, it takes a number and says a human will ring back. Then make sure a human does.
Step 6 is what separates people who get results from people who set this up and forget it. Every call produces a transcript. Once a week, read a batch and ask 3 things. Where did callers hesitate? What did they ask that the agent could not answer? Which calls should have booked and did not? You will find out something specific and boring and worth money, like everybody asks. Whether you cover their postcode and the agent never says. Fix the script. The next 100 calls go better. That loop is the whole product.
Here is the mistake that makes people hate these things. Trying to hide it. If the caller thinks they are talking to a person and then realizes they are not, you have lost them and probably earned a bad review. Let it be what it is. Something like, "Hi, I answer the phones when the team are out. I can book you in right now." People are fine with that. What they are not fine with is being tricked or being trapped in a loop with no way to reach a human. Say what it is, and always leave the door open.
Now the honest maths, and do this with your own numbers before you spend anything. Take your missed calls in a month. If you do not know your phone bill or your call log does, multiply by what one customer is worth to you. That is the number sitting on the table. You will not recover all of it, but if you miss 20 calls a month, a customer is worth £1,000, and this recovers a quarter of them. That is 5,000 a month from something that answers at 7 on a Sunday, exactly the way it answers on a Tuesday morning.
So the order is, write the rules, write the call flow, pick 3 questions, forward the number out of hours, sort the handoff, then read the transcripts every week. Do not start by choosing software. Start by writing what it is allowed to say, because that is the part that is actually yours and the part every comparison video skips. The call flow and the qualifying questions I use are linked below, free. Next one is on what to do when the calendar fills up and you have to start turning work away.